Hello, Wazers, and welcome to another exciting edition of Waze Community's Office Hours. I'm your host, Brett, and today I've got two very exciting guests for you. First is a PM from the Waze Partnership Feed Squad, Asaf Eisenberg, and our very own, my twin brother from another mother, Chezi Cohen, joining us as well. Today, we're going to be talking to you about partnerships and events. There's been a ton of different work and update that's gone into these systems this year. We've taken a bunch of your feedback, and we're really excited to share it to you what we've done. We're going to be doing live Q&A at the end. So Nir, can you go ahead and drop the Q&A link in chat? If you have any questions, feel free to put them there. Once that link goes up, I'll put it up on screen as well. But Chezi, why don't you take it away?
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Brett. And hi, everybody. We are very, very happy to be here today with you in our office hour. While I guess the majority of you know me from before, I still present myself for those who don't. So my name is Chezi. I'm part of the communities team for the past 7 years. And in my current role, I stepped into Anat's role as she went on maternity leave. And I'm now leading the traffic events and closures program. Together with me today is Asaf.
Hi, everyone. Brett introduced me. My name's Asaf. I'm a product manager at Waze. Been here about 4.5 years now, working on partnerships and feeds. I'm very excited to be here today.
Thank you, Asaf. Wonderful. So on our agenda today, we will recap with numbers 2025 so far. We're going to talk a little bit about unplanned events. We're going to talk about our new category of local driving advisory. And we're going to talk a little bit about how our partner can succeed together with you. Okay, so let's start with traffic events and advisories. So last time in our office hours, you were presented with all of the changes that we implemented to support events better than ever before. We presented you with new functionalities in the WME and new events landing page in the app, but still there are two notable changes that we would like to highlight again. The first one will be allowing you to add polygon-based event. This is actually a feature which was added based on your feedback, on a community request. By adding those events, we would like to provide drivers not only with traffic information, but also why. Okay, this is new ability will empower you to share your local knowledge and how events impact traffic, even if there aren't road closure associated to those events. So imagine, there's a concert happening in your city. There's no road closed for this event, but you know that a lot of people will arrive to this event. A lot of people will go in and out at the same time, and probably the roads will be full traffic, and it will impact the entire area. Now you can mark it with a polygon, and we will share a push notification to allow all of the drivers in the area know about it and plan ahead.
Yeah, and it's best to add a polygon even if there are no road closures, right? It just helps us understand the impact in the area.
Exactly. We know it's also challenging to share and know exactly what will be the impact, but we trust you that you have the ability to estimate it. And also we're also thinking about new ways to kind of like build maybe a kind of like a thumb rule to kind of like help us share it with the users. So in case this is the first time you hear about this, or even if it's not, we encourage you to go into the WME and explore a little bit more. This is really an amazing tool for all of us to support our users.
Before we move on from that, I just want to also remind everybody, this is something I say at the NA meetups, that these polygons get surfaced to drivers. So when you're creating it, make sure you create it pretty because it's going to show up in the app as well.
That's true. It's still not there, but it will be there, and absolutely you need to think about it. It's a great call.
Keep it clean, yeah.
Keep it clean, exactly. Okay, so the second improvement that we wanted to highlight again is really the improvement to allow the easier creation of events by providing you all with reuse capabilities for previously defined events in bulk editing operation. Now you can just duplicate things you already added to the map. You don't need to recreate it from scratch. We know that a lot of times some of the events are repetitive. Now it's easier for all of us to actually add them, duplicate them, and again, share this information with our users, which is the main reason we're doing this. And with all of these improvements, we really see impact on the numbers, and we see a massive growth when it comes to events in general. Only up until now in 2025, we see more than 50,000 traffic events supported, which is already 73% more than 2024. This is insane numbers. We now can say that 49 million users got impacted by those events, as we know that they will receive push notifications alerting them for the events that added by you and our partners. We also see almost 2 million closures that tied to events were added, which is again already almost 60% more than 2024. Insane numbers. And we were talking about the polygon-based events. We already see that more than 20% of our entire events are polygon-based, and we encourage each and every one of you, again, to explore and to add more of them, because we believe that they have a lot of impact on what we can do here. So this is great success. And with great success, we made us think that we did great, and there's nothing more that we can do. Steph and I went to drink some caipirinhas, and we had a good time. And then this happened. So unfortunately, in April this year, the Pope Francis passed away. And on our end, it was clear that we have here a mega event with huge impact on traffic. This impact will be way beyond the Vatican walls, and it will be a mega event which will impact the entire city of Rome. I would like to take this opportunity to say huge thank you to Aiole from the Italian community on the phenomenal support on this event. So well done, and thank you very much. But on the process side of things, like the backstage where we sit, we really had to figure out how do we handle such mega events internally. Why we had this dilemma? Because on one hand, we have the planned mega events. The planned mega events is something that we anticipated. They have a defined start and end time, and we know that we have at least 21 days in advance to work on them. It can be sporting event, it can be concerts, it can be any event that, again, we know of in advance. And on the other hand, we have something that happens without any planning, but it's kind of like it's a crisis, basically, meaning it's something that is more natural disaster or something that puts people's life at risk. And the type of support that requires from us is way more extensive, and we have the need to add evacuation zones and shelters. So that's another thing. And here, in these mega events, we understood there's something that is not similar to any of those. And life, as we said, and as we all the time say, is not only black and white, and there's a lot of gray in the middle. And these unplanned mega events kind of like fall under this category. So now I'm happy to share that we have a new process which is defined as unplanned mega event. This will help us here in HQ to really be able to support you and our users with those unplanned mega events. It can be a kind of like a VIP funeral, let's call it this way. It can be, I don't know, demonstrations that's happening from time to time and takes a lot of time to in the streets and happening for a long period of time. Those are, of course, just examples. And this is the kind of support that we believe will bring our drivers added value by receiving notifications from us. There's kind of like an action or something that they need to know that related to driving and the driving around their area they live in. It's also important to know that we still need to prepare for it. So we need at least 2 business days, unlike the planned event that are taking 21 days. We need at least 2 business days to support it and to prepare everything that we need, meaning that if something like this happening in your country, we need for it to continue even 2 days after for us to be able to support it. So what I want you to know, what we want you to know regarding those mega events. There are planned mega events, as we mentioned several times already. For those events, we encourage you to share the information with us as soon as possible. Let us know about something that's happening in your city, in your country. There is a QR code here on the screen, and we encourage you to submit a request for a mega event. We will check all the information that you share with us and the events that will be eligible for additional user communication in the app. In addition to the MTE push notifications, we will be more than happy to support them. For unplanned events, if this is happening in your country, the first step you need to do is to create a traffic event in the WME using Polygon. Here's where everything is connected. Set a category to unplanned disruption and submit it to send a high priority MTE push notification. Then once you created that, please reach out to your community manager for potential additional user communication and additional support from us. In 2025 and first half of 2025, we supported more than 40 mega events already. Some were planned, like Pride events, Tour de France, the Carnival in Brazil, and some were unplanned, like the Pope Francis funeral that we mentioned several times already. All of them are mega events that have big impact on traffic in the area. So thank you very much for all of you that supported us, shared with us the information, added the closures, added the polygon, did everything that is possible for us to be as responsive as possible and share it with our users.
And impact tens of millions of users this year alone.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kazi. So you mentioned unplanned disruptions, and let's talk a little bit more about that, because it's great that you have a process now, amazing, and that we have UComs, we know what to do, but how do you create these, and what do you do until the UComs response is out, or if you're not sure if it's a mega event or not? And this is where we added the new unplanned disruptions to close that gap. So unplanned disruptions are a new category of traffic event. Went live about a month ago or 2 months ago. It's meant to capture anything that's bigger than an alert on a segment, but smaller than a crisis or an unplanned mega event. So really three criteria for this. Unexpected, out of the ordinary event, impacting fairly large number of drivers so that we're not, we're not optimizing for very, very small things. And also that the effects are expected to last for several hours. The rule of thumb is 2-3 hours for reporting time. And why? Let's give an example, right? So here are some examples or cases of when you should use an unplanned disruption. Let's talk about accident for a second. This office is right on top of a highway, right, which we both take to work. And so every other time I drive down that highway, there's some sort of accident. Thankfully, it's usually a small fender bender. A car bumps into another, they stop on the side. It creates a little bit of traffic, but in after an hour, it's going to clear and go back to normal. This would be a typical accident alert on a segment, right? But what if it's a truck that flipped over? Now it's a different story, right? You have to get a crane out there. You have to really close the whole area. It's going to take a few hours. It's going to ruin a lot of people's day. So for this case, we have the unplanned disruption. Again, anything that's a little bit bigger and expected to last and out of the ordinary, really. So major accidents are one example. Local disasters like flooding, fires, spills, things that are, they happen. They're sort of local disasters, but not on the regional or crisis level. Infrastructure damage, same thing. And basically any other type of unplanned incidents, and there are a lot more than we thought about. We're already seeing some examples that we never considered, but anything that fits this description. Now, depending on the situation, it could expand into a mega event or a crisis response. But as you said, the first step, create this type of event. Let's see what happens when you do. So as part of this project, we added the ability to send push notifications as soon as possible. For traffic events in general, there is a lead time to prepare for it, right? But here, our goal is to publish within 30 minutes of submitting. So you report a live event, you submit it. We want to get to users when it's still relevant. Again, assuming it doesn't pass very, very quickly. The other innovation is that the description from Waze map editor that is entered for the event is now displayed on the event page for this category type. Because this can really support all sorts of different disruptions, right? We need the ability to communicate to drivers and give them helpful information about what is the incident, what's going on, where exactly, and what is impacted. How should drivers react? What should they expect, right? So any type of helpful information like this. The name and the description can also be translated to the local language. We really recommend doing that, right? Because you want drivers to see what's happening and understand it in their language. And it's mandatory to send an expected end time. Now, we don't always know, obviously, but there's the ability to later change it if the event clears up or if the duration becomes longer. Additional helpful guidelines and tips can be found on Waze Discuss. So the QR code here leads to a link where you can find the post describing this new category. Let's take a look at some examples in action. So this is just from a few days ago in Norway. This landslide looks small, but it took out a railroad, the highway, the service road, and even the driveway to this poor man's house, right? So, I mean, it doesn't look huge, but now to get from this side to the other side, you have to take a huge detour. I believe you have to cross over to Sweden and back. So this is a pretty big event. And on the right, you can see how well it was mapped in Waze Map Editor. You see the polygon around the area and the road closure in the middle. This allowed us to notify users in the area, or that we expected to go through the area, as it was happening. Because if you have to make this huge detour, then by the time you leave and then you see you have to take this detour, it's already too late. You didn't account for those extra couple of hours that you need to travel. Another example from Germany, this was about a month ago. The gas leak was discovered in an apartment building, and emergency services basically cleared out the whole area, the center of the town. Look how beautifully it was mapped on Waze Map Editor. You see all the closures in the center, the polygon around it, including main roads going through the town. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but this is a really good example that we've never considered in terms of use cases to support here.
It's nice to see that just some things that we thought, like we developed some things for some cases, and all of a sudden it's being used for additional cases. I mean, it's A, useful, and B, the community is super creative in utilizing the tools and the abilities that we have.
Exactly, and we're learning a lot from this. This is great.
Speaking of the tools, we've got a good question in chat from Lori. If they create only an English event, will it be displayed for users using another language? So like basically, this is like French Canada specific. Like if the user has their app configured to French, will an English language alert still show up for them, or are they all, or is it dependent on the language in the app?
On the event page, yes, like they'll see whatever is available. So if it's in English, it'll show up in English only if there's no translation.
Cool.
Yeah. And also a lot of time, English uses as the fallback language. So if something is translated to some languages, but the user is using a third or fourth language that is not translated to, it will fall into English. So yes, they will see the English.
Great.
And we also have a default description. So if it's left blank, which is not ideal for these cases, because you do want to know more about what's going on, but there is a fallback description in case we need it.
Super helpful.
All right, so quick summary of these all different types of events, right? So we have the planned side of things, right, where we have the sort of classic traffic event, the different types that we support, or a planned mega event if it's bigger than that. On the unplanned side, we have the unplanned disruption. That's really anything small to large. If it's more severe and a bigger scale, unplanned mega events, and maybe even on the level of crisis along with the response for that. So hopefully this sort of creates clarity on the different types of events that we support. There is one more new addition to the event family. It's more like a cousin, I would say, because it's not really a traffic event. Yeah, this one's a little bit different. This is what we call the local driving advisory. So in this case, we had basically Waze partners asking us to help inform and remind the public about new policies and permanent changes that they're introducing. So we decided to use the traffic event platform and add this new category called local driving advisory. Currently, it's exploratory. We're trying to see how it goes. And this is meant to support these new types of announcements. So what does it capture? Basically, anything permanent, not temporary like traffic events, but permanent changes to the way roads should be used, to driving laws, to regulations related to driving or to traffic. For example, congestion charges, new tolls and toll increases, new zones and restrictions, anything like changing the use of a road in the main area. For example, if a street downtown is now pedestrian only, right, that would be the sort of change. And the idea here is to provide actionable and specific information so that drivers know what to do and also where to find more information. So you set these up as traffic events, even though they're not a temporary event, with some differences. There's no end time for these. Like you literally cannot set an end time in WME for these because they're permanent, right? Curated name and description, a little bit like the unplanned disruption, because these could be a very wide range of updates. We've modified the event page so you can see a little bit what it looks like. It's less about live traffic, more around here's the essence of the information you need in advance. And we're sending push notifications in advance for these. The idea is to help drivers prepare. So around 48 hours before, we send the push notification. Right now, this is only available for Waze for Cities partners and for community members that collaborate with these partners. As we try this out, we'll learn, we'll see how it goes, and then we might expand further.
That's a super important note. So Some of you won't be able to see it in the WME, but know that it exists. Know that your partners in your cities, again, in your countries, will be able to use it. And we once, as Asaf said, we're learning it, we're exploring it, and we see if we will be able to see the added value that will help us expand it to more users.
So we've got some comments coming in on this. From Jay, this is great. The amount of frequent changes in major metros like New York City would make this very useful. I anticipate partners should be very excited. We got a question here from Snow Miser. Would local driving advisory be acceptable for a single lane bridge alert? So if like the lanes are decreasing for a bridge, we don't have a permanent hazard for that. Do you think this could be used for that sort of case?
If it's a permanent change, definitely.
Cool. Before we move on, there's another question back about unplanned disruptions from pianist Nico. Can we report bigger accidents from the app so editors see it and add a spontaneous event, or only editors can create them? So I'm guessing like if there's a big accident and there's a bunch of reporters about it, then can an editor go in and create a unplanned disruption to make a MTE out of the crash rather than just relying on reports?
Exactly. Like
yeah, not really to make an MTE out of the crash, but they don't replace one another. So a crash alert on a segment is still important because you wanna fling up a notification to anybody on that route, right? But we also want to be able to tell people in the bigger area that are about to go there. So I don't think yet we have a great way or a smooth way to do this. You'd have to go to you'd have to see the crash reports and then go to WME and create a traffic event separately. But again, they're complementary.
Thanks.
Cool. So now, next few minutes, we're going to talk a little bit about Waze partners and how they we expect them to be involved in this. So first of all, around traffic events. So Waze for Cities partners can already create traffic events in WME and also in collaboration with community members, but not all of them do. So we've never really told them about this as part of our offering. Many partners ask for this, but they're not even familiar that we offer this capability. And now that we have all these new categories, it's really the time to go to market with this, so to speak, and to encourage and train partners on how to use these new categories and all categories as well. So this is what we're up to starting this month. Next few weeks, we're really going to come out and tell partners about this capability, hopefully get them to provide more information and then take a bigger role in this ecosystem. A little bit more about partners, right? So for partners, we give a lot of powerful options. Some of them we just saw, right? But we also need to make sure that partners are off to a good start and are able to use our tools and accomplish what they want to do and what we'd like them to do. So based on feedback from the community and the tight collaborations that we see between community members and our partners, we're looking for additional ways to increase partner success and get them onboarded and started well, and also familiar and more better acquainted with the community. So a few things we're doing towards this. First of all, there's a new Waze for Cities website. It's not that new. It's like coming up to a year since the first version is out, but we keep updating this. And this has been a pain point for many years. Like there was no destination to send somebody who's asking about Waze for Cities. So now there is. We're adding a section about advisories and traffic events. This is really good to pitch to someone to get them excited and to just get a general sense of what Waze for Cities offers. So it's basically waze.com/Waze for Cities, but there's a QR code as well. Feel free to visit or send your local city officials to go and visit if you want to get them interested. It's not always enough. So we hear from community members and from our partnerships team that a lot of partners, they want something a bit more digestible. So a one-pager, a template, some examples from other partners. And so we've put together materials that give us a better ability to pitch Waze for Cities and to give sort of the TLDR of it, right? And these are also available to the community. So with this link, which leads to, I believe, the right page on Waze Discuss that has these materials, feel free to use them. We have some case studies. We have some one-pagers, basically things that you can send around. Or if you have a partner that's interested, this is a great way to sort of give them something basic to start getting them interested. Online information is great. We also see demand for interactive and more comprehensive training. So earlier this year, we took the road closures course that was built for the community. We opened it up to some partners. We saw tremendous interest, 100% completion rate from those who started it. Yeah, so it really showed like there's a lot of demand for more training. So we're working on a bigger Ways for Cities course that really covers all the different aspects, also introduces partners to the concept of the community and to the Waze map and how it works. This is open, so community members will also be able to take this course, but the idea is to really get them off to a better start and also introduce them to the community, which is a really important thing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love it because a lot of time, a lot of the communities actually, again, asking for some assets that they can do to really explain to, really, as you said, like pitch to partners, explain to partners what's going on, and also give them just like the basics of understanding what we're doing here in Waze, what's the added value of what we do here. So I'm very happy to see it's on growing again and again.
Yeah. It's really, excited about this. And we sometimes see that partners, right when they join, they may not have heard about the community. They're not sure what the community does. Why is a volunteer talking to me, right? So aside from this being a win-win opportunity that's not always captured, it sometimes leads to friction or frustration, right? Because if you have a partner doesn't talk to the local community, maybe not trained and brushed up, they go in, they make a change, and no one's happy, right? So we really want to get everybody off to a better start. We've added introductions to the community, both to Waze Partner Hub and to the onboarding flow when a new partner joins Waze. So basically, they're able to connect with a Google group with some local editors. Groups have been super, super responsive and engaged. Thank you if you're involved in these groups. Thank you for all your help. It's amazing for partners. It's a joy to watch. Like there are such amazing collaborations coming out of this. So thank you. Please keep it up. It's delightful. It's not enough. We want to do more. So this year we've started piloting a mentorship program. So rather than wait for partners to read information and maybe like click a button to start getting interested, now when a new Ways for Cities partner joins, they get a personalized email introducing the community, inviting them to take part. And if they reply back that they're interested, we get them in touch with the local community. So we have been partnering this in France, Mexico, and Brazil with really, really good success, and we're looking forward to rolling this out further. If you would like to get involved and do more, please reach out to your CM. Like there's,
and we know you do.
Yeah. It's really interesting to see.
Absolutely.
And then to wrap up, a couple of features for partners that are also used by some of our communities that are interesting and I think you'd want to know about or let partners know about. First of all, for partners who give us feeds, we now offer the ability to see how Waze processes that feed. It used to be that, you provide information, it goes somewhere, maybe it appears on the map, maybe it doesn't. That's not a great experience. It doesn't let you correct or find out if there are issues. So now we have this view in Partner Hub where you can really see exactly how Waze interprets and processes every event that you provide. It allows partners to catch errors. We have them reach out to us and try to solve things themselves. So really great feature and hoping to see it having even better impact. And then finally, user impact. So yeah, partners provide us information because they count on us to inform users and keep them safe and keep traffic moving. So they invest their time, public funds, in providing information to us. They really want to see the impact of what they do. And so we've added this dashboard to Partner Hub where every partner who provides information and reports to us can see on a weekly level how many users they impacted, how many upvotes their contributions got. Yeah, partners are really excited to see this. Some have, showed this. Everybody has a boss, right? So they want to look at it as well and show the impact of their work. And this is also available for the community partner account. So if you're part of a community Partner Hub account, you're also able to see what you're collectively doing as editors. And we're working on new features. We're going to add a monthly view, a longer history. Yeah, some more things that partners are looking for. Yeah, Brett, go ahead.
We have a couple of questions before we move on.
Sure.
From Nate, does the feedback highlight closures that have been removed by local editors to the partner?
It does not at this stage. It is a snapshot of what we're processing. what happens downstream can diverge into a lot of different scenarios and end states. And so it's a bit more complicated. It is something that we have in mind, sort of giving a summary in hindsight so partners understand what happened. But we might have to find another way to flag these remove closures. But thank you for the question.
There's another one from Carrasco about how do we measure the impact here of this data that we're showing them?
Of the impact that we're showing to partners?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are two ways that we are currently doing this. Because we don't have millions of partners on our platform, it's hard to see in the data or in partner behavior how this takes effect.
Sorry, you followed. He means if the road is closed, do you measure the detours, the planned drives?
Okay. What we're actually showing. No. So Waze has an internal calculation to estimate the number of impacted drives by a road closure, any road closure. And so it's based on historical traffic. And so we produce a measure for each closure and also for each alert and for each traffic event of roughly how many Waze users we expect were impacted by that closure or that traffic event. Then we aggregate them in a way that we're able to show partners while adhering to privacy concerns.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, and with that, this concludes the presentation. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the Q&A submission, I saw that there were some earlier up here in the feed that I wanted to talk about. Right, for local driving advisory, could it be used to advise on wildlife zones? This was a permanent hazard we haven't been able to get yet because the icon is a different animal, not even in every country, but in every region of every country. They put different animals on their icon. So we haven't launched it as a permanent hazard yet. Do you think that this feature could be like a stopgap for that, for a advisory on like throwing a polygon around wildlife zones for a driving advisory?
I think not. So driving advisories, like planned long-term events, they have a lead time of a couple of weeks because we have to get like all the information correct. We need time to prepare and all that. So it's not good for something that's closer to real time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, again, it's meant for singularities, so a change that happens and from it's in effect. So unless it's I don't know, new species being introduced, right? Then probably not. No, but I mean, I hear your pain. I can't comment on the permanent hazards as well, but I think this is feedback that we'll take from this.
Definitely. In the meantime, we can run like limited UCOM campaigns with an ETA pop-up for these sorts of things, but it can't be a permanent map feature when it's like that. So it's sort of we're still in this hacky stopgap area until we get the permanent hazard up and running. All right, cool. Nir, why don't you give us our first question? All right, from Jose, what are the main guidelines for deciding whether or not to publish an event? What are the two main reasons for not publishing?
Okay, so that's a great question, and you're welcome to keep me honest. So ideally, we would like to publish every event that have impact on traffic. Currently, we just due to the volume of events that we have, we're not publishing constructions, but we want to go ahead and start publishing constructions. Of course, once we will do it, we will let you know, and we will make sure that you are aware of it. And then every event that you actually submit will be published and will be shared with the users. It is important to know that we also have limitation on the amount of push notifications that users are getting. So even if we published 10 events that you submitted, it's not necessarily that you will see the push notifications or the people that you know or people around you if they already got some of the push notifications for the same category. Okay, so there is a limitation of how many push notifications we can send per week, per user, per category. Okay, so we also need to take that into consideration, but ideally we would like to publish all of the events that you actually submit.
Yeah, and just to clarify one thing, so construction events, Waze used to publish some construction events based on certain criteria. We've relaxed that, so we're trying to publish all construction events, and most traffic events are construction, but not quite there yet. Yep. I'd say I don't know the two main reasons. I think it's your area a bit more, but The ones I've seen are often around if something is submitted too late, where like it doesn't really matter that much anymore by the time we'll send it out, or if there are issues with the naming or it's unclear information, and then we have to go back to the reporter and try to find out what happened, and it's another iteration which takes time. So these are the reasons I often see things not ending unpublished. So hope that's helpful.
There's an interesting one here in chat from Lori. I think I know the answer, but weird question. Can an NTE polygon have a hole in it? So from my understanding, we can't ingest a multi-polygon, which is how you would create like a donut-shaped or like a hole-shaped polygon. It breaks the map in a few different ways. But what you can do is like really create like a tight U shape where you just like a really small line in the middle there and then go around it. That'd probably be the best hack for being able to create a hole in the middle of a polygon. But otherwise, like there is a way to do it with multi-polygons, but the WME can't really ingest them.
Exactly. And we see that it's a great question. It's not a weird question at all, but we see it a lot of times, not necessarily with a hole in the middle, but we see it when something's happening in certain cities, when there is a highway passing through that, and that doesn't necessarily impact the highway, right? It will impact the people that live in the city, in certain neighborhoods and so on, but the highway should be excluded. So this is something that we still trying to figure out how to work with.
Definitely. And in those really complicated cases, you can always do two MTEs. You know, like if there's like a highway that's bisecting it, you can do like one on either side. Think about that. And the other thing that we ran into before too, I know this was an issue in France, where the MTE was just so gigantic. It was like taking over the entire city of Paris. So we ended up splitting it up into districts and like really breaking those up to be able to max out that polygon size. One polygon might not be able to encompass everything. You might have to like really get like more granular there. Cool. What's our next question, Nir? From ABC 1357, what type of event type should we use for festivals that are not concerts or parades? So like a street fest or something like that.
So that's a great question. I don't remember the exact. Do you remember the exact category? If not, I will let you know. We can check that and get if you don't know exactly. Do you know?
I believe it's a holiday celebration, but it could be localized and different. So we might know it is different things between different countries. I think we've heard some feedback on the festival. Yeah.
And there might be different guidelines for different countries and regions.
Exactly. But also, it's important for you to know that we're also working on adding more subcategories for each of the events that we actually have, since, as Brett mentioned earlier, those polygons will be surfaced in a trip overview and they will be shown to the users. We're also going to use the categories to actually explain why the traffic is being impacted. So we will have more subcategories. We're still working on it. We took a lot of some events submitted in the past to actually analyze that together with our UX writers to figure out what's the actually essence of those categories and what granularity will be best. So you'll have more options in the future, but as of now, yes, probably Holiday Festival will be the best for that. So stay tuned for more.
And you can also use other there. I see in the chat people are talking about that as well. I think also it's best to check with your champs locally and see what the guidance is there.
In general, yeah, okay.
Yeah, other will actually not be shown in trip overview.
True, but it will be written as local event. But ideally, we would like to be as informative to the user, not just like, but if there are no other option, other is a great option.
Cool. All right, next up. From Bob McCormick, I have a number of multi-year highway construction MTEs based on city names. Should these be recreated as polygon events?
So they shouldn't be recreated. I think you can add a polygon to the event. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, so yes. I think it will be ideal. Maybe it will help us reach more people. Yet, if it's a multi-year and they already started, if it's planned, so the answer is yeah. I'm like thinking while answering. So if it's planned, I think yes, we will encourage you that so we can reach more people. If it's already in place, probably majority of people are already aware of it. So probably we don't need to find a way to inform more people about those changes.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't bother at this stage if it's multi-year and already there, because we don't want to notify people accidentally now about these, right? Because
It will be weird.
locals already know about this. So I would probably leave them as is, unless something major changes.
Fair. All right, next up from Pablo, how big can be the polygons for mega events, for example, to cover a stage of the Tour Giro or Vuelta, like some of these really big races?
True, but so for those we actually divide them into steps, meaning that we don't cover the entire race with one polygon. We actually do it by stages, so that help us. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is a limitation of 20 kilometers, or that's for the polygon. I hope I'm not mistaken here. But in any case, as we said for the polygon base, as we said for the like all the rest, sometimes it's better to break it into stages, into neighborhoods, into regions, just in a way that will make more sense and actually reach the people that needs to be reached by it. And also sometimes those stages have different start and end date as well, so that will also help us manage that better, right? So for example, Tour de France or Vuelta, they are both great example of cycling events that happened in several countries as well. Some countries started first and then the other countries, so we wouldn't want to inform everybody at once. We just actually want to inform them closer to the time of the event. So it will be better to break it for this reason as well.
Yeah, and I would say if you do hit use cases where you're limited by the size in a way that doesn't really make sense, please bubble it up, right? Because then, I mean, it's something that we can change.
Do we have a kilometer max on the size of polygons, or?
Not for the sure. I don't want to say something.
For sure. There's an interesting feature request here in the chat from Jürgen. It'd be great to either have an MTE be snapped to an elevation level, like exclude underground highway or tunnel or an elevated highway, or to exclude a road category, like in permanent hazards. Like I could totally see that be a cool fix for like these types of events where it doesn't cross the highway or something like that. Just as a feature request, you're going to make sure that you put that in user voice as well. So that we have that as a WME feature request. Cool. What's our next question? From Bryce, I would love the ability to manage shelters from a list within the events tab versus having to go to each venue to enable and disable. So it's like, that's another good feature request, Bryce. Make sure you put that into user voice. Any comments on that one?
I mean, associating venues with events more easily is something that I really want to have, right? I too do not always get what I want, so we'll see. But I think it's important, and I'm waiting for the day when we can make this happen, because I think shelters are one example, but I can think of many other use cases where it'll be helpful to manage venues in the context of an event. So I unfortunately I don't know if there's a way to do this, but hopefully we will at a certain point.
Awesome. All right, next up from Tom. Do unplanned disruptions have to be reviewed and published manually by HQ, or is it approved automatically? For example, if the event is published in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so they do have to be reviewed at this point, especially because the description and the name can be, so you have so much freedom to define them. So we want to make sure nothing goes wrong and no big mistakes that we'll later regret. In terms of publishing, so they can be published at any time. We may not send a push notification if it's in the middle of the night, right? So if it's, let's say something happens during the night, it's 3 a.m, on the off chance that you're driving, then you'll see it in trip overview because it's published. But we don't want to just send pushes in the middle of the night for people who are less likely to drive. So we have certain hours where we black it out. But basically we can publish and approve at any time of day.
Yeah, because we have our team that supports us with that works 24/7. So basically, in those cases, they will be able to publish it. But as Asaf said, we not necessarily will send the push notification in the middle of the night.
Right, but it will get queued to be first up as soon as rush hour starts.
Exactly.
The window starts.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, next up. From Adam, can we include the event name and time frame the event occurs in the message card? This is when you plot a route, then that's passing through a polygon of an event. Currently, it just says example sports event may cause slowdowns. So maybe in the description field there, but it's only going to surface for particular event types.
It's a good question. I actually don't know the exact plans that the team has for exactly what to show. I know that they're trying different directions. They actually moved a little bit away from the event name towards showing the category to make it a little bit more streamlined and easy to quickly perceive for drivers. So it really depends on how users perceive this, what they find clear and helpful. So I'm pretty sure they had this in mind, but it's a good question. Like we'll
can
ask the other
definitely
team.
take it. Yeah.
And the other thing to keep in mind with these message cards is that we have such a tight character count. So a lot of the time, like the reason why we may be moving away from using the full event name is that it's like just maxing out the characters, and then that ruins the rest of the text on the card. Cool. So Nir, can you give us the next question? From Bill, the Map Chat app feature has extraordinary potential for those on the ground to report details to each other and to editors. Could they be surfaced on WME as well as Live Map? And question, do Map Chat comments get cached on the app until internet connectivity becomes available?
WME less our area. I don't know, Brett, if this is something that
So I don't know exactly what Bill's referring to here. It could be like chats under reports. It could be like Waze chat here. I'm not quite sure what he's referring to. I'm guessing it's going to be the chats under reports if he's talking about adding details to reports to each other. So those are not currently surfaced in WME. They should be available on Live Map, though. When you click on the report, you should see the comments under it.
Yeah, so technically that's an alert. So you're able to see it on Live Map and on the Partner Hub map, but not in WME. WME doesn't show alerts at all. I'm just wondering if this is something that's come up before, because I think it makes sense.
Map Chat report type in the app.
Yeah, so that's that.
We'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't think that we can answer that now. Cool. Next up, from Nico, is it also possible to report a larger accident or incident directly from the app so that map editors will notice it more easily and can enter spontaneous event? Or is it still the case that only editors themselves? Oh, we answered this one already before live, so we can skip this question. Another from Nico, is it also possible to report a larger accident?
It's the same one. Is it also possible?
All right, another from Adam. Can we also make it so you can see an area on the trip overview, like besides the push notifications that take you to the event page? Maybe someone missed those. If they plot a route, they'll see the message, but they not know where it is. Showing the general area on the screen would be helpful, right?
So yes, as we mentioned, we plan that's in the works to show the polygons in trip overview. This is why we said like keep it clean, because we want to make sure that people see a nice decent polygon that actually have the impact. So the answer is definitely yes, this is in the works, and there's just a lot of things that tie to it, but this is something that like we will see coming up very I'm daring to say the word soon, but yes, Gil soon.
Cool. Next up, another from Bryce. When Traffic Events was launched, it was mentioned that future improvement could have venues added to the event. For example, a sporting event, venue registration, and relevant parking, or a concert and then the venue plus parking. Is it still in the future roadmap?
Yeah, I think we touched on this again. Yes, it's still in the plans. A lot of us really want to do this. It's competitive out there, but hopefully we'll get it done. I think this will be a great capability.
So on the Partner Hub, we got one from chat. Is there a way for editors to add alerts to the map similar to how partner cities can do it in the Partner Hub?
Yes, you can join a Partner Hub account dedicated for the community and have access to all Waze for Cities features and tools.
We do have some countries that restrict access to this to champs only, so it's something you might have to request from one of your champs. But yeah, they should have all the tools open to them that the partners have as well. Nobody says, I see only chat reports from partners will show the title of the chat onto live map. Okay. Cool. Let's take our next question. So we still have a few more in the queue. From Larry, can you add festival back to the list of event categories?
So as we said, we're exploring now new categories and new subcategories. So we'll have more granularity and more like a better ability to describe what's going on in your city and what event actually taking effect on traffic. So we'll make sure that festival is there and see if, based on all other events and the actual essence of them, it is relevant. But I believe it will.
Nice. Next up, from Demacel, crash reports aren't visible in WME. Is this something coming in the future? Otherwise, editors would always have to look elsewhere to anticipate major unplanned events.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe not anytime soon. This is related to the question about map chats. There is not a way today to show alerts in WME. But this is important, right? Like we need to provide ways to connect the dots. So definitely good feedback, and we'll take it back to the WME team.
Cool, thanks, Asaf. Next up, another from Adam. Can we plan an event with a schedule? Like if there's a road work for a week, but only from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. If we make the event for the whole week, we'll get the message card outside those hours too. We'll need to make separate events to fix it.
Yes, I think this is where the ability to duplicate events come into place. You actually can create the event from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. as it is, and then duplicate it and just change the date for the dates that are coming. This makes it easier to create, and you don't need to lose the time frame in between the events. So you don't need to create it to a week, and you don't need to create it from scratch every time. Just duplicate what you already done, and for the amount of days that you actually need it.
Yeah.
Cool. Next up, from Marcin, in Barcelona and Lisbon, EMEA Waze promised to make mechanism to put a RTC by ID of the segment for partners. What's the status?
May I know who promised this?
Well, I think that they could follow up next week at the EMEA Mega Meetup and bring your question there.
Yeah, please catch me. I'm taking names, so if somebody promised and didn't deliver, let me know.
If you want to get someone fired, Marcin.
Great. Okay, next up.
No, but it's true. Both Asaf and myself will be in the EMEA Mega Marcin, so we can take it together next week. Actually, this week.
We know who you are, Marcin.
Yeah.
All right. From ABC 1357 again, need to emphasize to partners about the node closure capability. I've seen them close side streets and put a node closure that closes the highway where the side street junctions. The highway was open in this case. Yeah, we've had a few different escalations actually from these node closures. That's a really good point.
Yeah. So on that, yes, node closures are a pain point. We've seen it with partners and frankly with some edits done by editors as well, where it's not always consistent and perfectly matching reality. And so for partners, at least, it is part of the training that we're providing to partners to explain node closures, how they should work. And if they don't know, they should reach out to the community to understand it better.
We're also now refreshing the training for the editors as well, also in the written one and also in the video one, to actually emphasize that as well. We actually, I think, identified that a lot of times when someone uses close all nodes, they don't actually go over to check if all nodes should be closed, mainly on the edges, like at the beginning.
Both ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So this is also happening. So we overall working on improving the trainings around that.
Awesome. Next up, another from Dimacel. As editors, can we also see how much influence a TE that has been created has had? Oh, interesting. Like some feedback on their events that they're programming.
Yeah, so event level feedback is not something that we offer right now. Part of the challenge with that is as soon as you cross over to the impact on users, it's basically user data, and we have to be very, very careful. And our hands are kind of tied with some of the things that we can share. We know this is a need. This is something we're looking into. So can we share event level broad impacts? So hopefully more to follow. But right now it's not possible to see. It's only internal data.
Got it. All right, next up. From Mikael, GEP can have the same statistics than CCP soon. So this is for the Google Events partners.
For the event partners. So general answer is yes. We have some plans for the GP program, but more on this later. But yes, at the not from now, they'll be able to see that as well. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, next up. From Nigel, what is the radius or determination of who gets the event push notification? I got an event yesterday that is 250 kilometers away from where I am, and I don't usually drive through that area. Although close, I do get about 50 kilometers away from it occasionally.
So I think we will be happy to see the example, so we will be able to check what happened there. Usually, it depends if a polygon was defined or not. If a polygon was not defined, we usually send the push notifications to people who already drove on the segment that is being impacted several times in a certain time frame. If not, it's usually based on polygon, and then the polygon limitation here, I'm almost 100% sure that we have 20-kilometer limitation. So 250 kilometers sounds a little bit far. So try to think if you drove in this on those segments recently, even if it's not often. But please do share this example with your community manager, and we'll be more than happy to look into it to also learn, because it's also something new that we're working with, right? So we can also learn and improve all the time.
Definitely. We've had a few ghosts in the machine there. I know in NA, a bunch of editors who were all at the NA Mega meetup ended up getting an event warning from Austin like a couple of months after the fact. So there's still some things we're working out there in the system. Yeah. All right, next up. Another from ABC 1357. To follow up on Nigel's notification, we can add the ability of users to control notification areas or to notify only if they have a route driving through a specific area. I do not want to know about events in an area where I went for a vacation or a holiday a few weeks ago and then have since left. So giving users that granularity maybe to like opt out. Sounds like a feature request to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. We always need to think if people actually want to hear about it or not. It's not something that we can define completely, right? If you drove there once, you might going to drive there again. If you drive there on your vacation, yes, you might not want to hear about something that happens, I don't know, in a different country even, and so on. So yes, definitely a feature request, and we can think how we can support that somehow in a smart way.
In the meantime, just enjoy the memories that it's going to give you of your last vacation when you see that push notification pop back.
And be happy that you're not there while something big has happened.
You missed the disaster. You can celebrate. We've got like 2 minutes left, so it's enough time for another question. Let's take a look. Anonymous, from Jeff. Would it be possible to get a pop-up warning also at the start of a trip crossing, starting, ending in an event polygon area, not just a warning sent prior to the event, but those usually driving to the delimited polygon or concerned segments?
So I think it's a great question. It's just the amount of alerts and information that we can provide users during the drive, over the drive, and so on. A lot of people likes to be well informed, but a lot of people also don't like to be so much informed, right? If you already informed me half an hour ago, I already know. I don't necessarily want to know it again. So it's kind of like personal how you like it. We can definitely look into it and think maybe in some cases this is more relevant than others. So this is something we can definitely look into.
And it should be available too on the trip overview screen before you start your navigation. That it'll like alert you that your route is passing through an event. I think it's just to echo what Chezi said, this isn't like a school zone where we always want to alert you before you enter the school zone. And because it's like a temporary thing, I don't know how we can do that with like the stack of notifications that Asaf was talking about earlier. We have a lot of prioritization in message types. So it might not be like the best thing to see right before you enter the zone. All right, we've got time for one more question. From Gavin, I created an MTV for the Annunciation shooting. What category should be used? Oh, this is a crisis one. Okay, a little heavy to close us out today. So when we come to like an event for like a tragedy, like when there's like a shooting or something like that, do we have a event type for that, or should this be put in for a crisis, or how should we deal with these sorts of really tragic events?
So this sounds like an unplanned disruption, to be honest, right? Because it's not your typical sort of category that we support. It's unplanned. It's happening now. It's affecting traffic. Again, first step is to create an unplanned disruption, submit it so that we can blast out notification to local users, and then we have somebody look over it and see does it make sense to put out a bigger communication or response. So I think that would capture it well.
Thank you. I blame Nir for giving us a sad question to end this on, but thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
This was a really awesome episode. We had a ton of feedback and questions here. I know that you all have a bunch now to take back to the squad, and I'm sure the community has a bunch more questions for us as well, so feel free to post them on the forum and we'll get back to you there. I want to thank again Chazi and Asaf for joining us. You guys were awesome sports today. We'll be back in November. We're taking October off, and we'll have a WME roundup for you in mid-November sometime. So keep your eyes peeled on the forum for more details on that. And we will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.